just wanted to share how much your book meant to me, and how much I would like to even say that I recommend that it's just a valued resource for any homeschooling parent, whether you're a newbie, whether you're fearful of stepping into the world of homeschooling. I feel like you cover the range. I think it's, for me, we are finishing up our fourth year of homeschooling. So I still kind of consider myself a newbie, but then, as my husband and I joke, we just have one. So we always have the practice kid. We're always figuring it out with him. I kind of always consider myself a newbie because it's always fourth grade for us when it starts over, and then it'll always be our first fifth grader. But the point is, even though I've got a few years under my belt, I felt like your book could speak to someone who's new, who's never homeschooled before, or someone who has been doing it, if you just need that little bit of extra encouragement, because the days are long, but the years are short. And there are some days when you go, have I completely messed this up? Have I completely gotten this? Do I even know what I'm doing? When you become a homeschooler and you put the entire burden of your child's education is on your shoulders, that shouldn't necessarily be a fearful thing. It should be an empowering thing. And I felt that your book was very much pro-parent, to empower you from so many different angles. But from the biggest thing that stood out for me was community. That was one of the biggest things that stood out to me, is that you are not alone, whether you have a co-op or whether you do this on your own with a co-op or not. You can reach out and find those connections, and you should. And that's one of the biggest takeaways that I took from your book. Several things that I learned. But can you speak about what community and having a village means to you, as far as
Oh
in a
gosh.
homeschool community?
Well, I mean, definitely the you're not alone feeling, because sometimes as mom, we like to trap ourselves in a little bubble and just we've got kids and we don't have adults around us that encourage us and support us. And then there's also this idea of there's people in my life, adults, that can speak into my children's lives, things that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a really big deal, especially, us being believers, Christians.
Mm-hmm.
We want our kids to see that there's other Christians out there with the same values that, for example, like my son has connected with a mentor, and he can speak into his life that my husband can't speak into and I can't speak into, but he's also hearing the same kind of things coming from him that mom and dad have been talking about. And I mean, there's other situations where, like, mom needs a break, and somebody, we take in
Yes.
a child into our home so mom can have a break, and vice versa. I think we just need each other to pray together. We need each other to, when it's like the body, like when one part of the body is not working properly, the others
Mm-hmm.
can help lift them up. And there's been days that I've walked into co-op or walked into our congregation where I was just like, I was done. And, having a group of women and any adult, because, husbands included, coming together and just saying, it's going to be okay. Let me pray for you. Or, hey, let me take on that burden for you. I'll teach this class for you today. Or like, I'm teaching a class at the co-op, a logic class. And my daughter that has Down syndrome usually sits in with me. I was crazy. I'm crazy white. I don't know why I did this. I taught a logic count class and thought my daughter could simply just sit there and eat her lunch for an hour. This was like one big mistake I made.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching
Learning
this.
moment. Learning moment.
Such a bad choice on my part, but thinking that my 6-year-old daughter with Down syndrome could sit there and eat for an hour. First of all, like, no kid eats for an hour. Um,
That's true.
and thinking that I don't know, it was just a big mistake. And I only have 4 more weeks, so we're good. But a parent noticed I was struggling and it was affecting the class. And, my daughter likes to get up out of her seat and sit between the kids and feel like she's a part of the class. And
Sure.
so the mom just came by and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to watch your daughter for you. And she actually cleans the co-op. So she'll take my daughter around and clean the co-op and teach her some cleaning skills. I don't have to worry about it, even though I made a stupid mistake. Um,
No, don't say that. That's not.
It was very
growing moments. Growing moments.
it was very ambitious of me. I really wanted to teach this class. And so, yeah, it's good. It balances everything out.